juicy, bold, alive.
How dare you? Are you
How
a free
dare I
woman or
breaking the
what?
happiness is totally an inside job. Make sure you're holding
Exactly.
that fish. So if you truly want to have this rich, fulfilling, magnificent life.
Welcome to the Vibrant Couple. I have invited Junie Moon to talk about healthy feminine today. Junie, you work primarily with women in the second half of their lives so that it is better than the first one. Please say more about what you do.
Yes, yes. So women come to me primarily single, starting over in love, questioning whether they should start over in love, depending on their situation, and overall saying, hey, I'm in my 50s, I'm in my 60s. How can the second half of life be even more fulfilling and beautiful? And what might love look like now? So I help them to really craft and create and draw in a deeper love. And of course, it starts with them.
Wonderful. And so I would love to talk mainly about healthy feminine, but I believe it would be good to push off from toxic feminine. What do you see toxic feminine being?
Yeah, that's a big question and certainly a big topic. When I think about toxicity in general, it's icky, right? Like who wants anything that's toxic? That doesn't sound good. So what I see as toxic feminine is a woman who is not aligned and not coming from her true self in a healthy way. And so if it's not healthy, if she's coming out sideways, if she's emasculating men, if she's shaming on men, if she's not able to relax inside her body and she's on guard and coming, just going into default patterns that she's picked up throughout her life and acting in ways that are harmful to her, to her partner as a couple, to me, that I would say is toxicity and certainly toxic feminine if she can't really be her true self.
Wonderful. So it seems that we have a similar view. There are people who are toxic, like, narcissists, and I'm assuming that's not exactly who you work with. Then there is a toxic femininity, which is about basically through masculinity where women have somehow tended to embody or be in a role that was not theirs, but they thought they had to do to please men. And then there is learning to be healthy oneself with, even for men, we have to learn to be healthy masculine and also be with our own healthy feminine inside of us.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm glad you brought that up because I see it as a spectrum. There is that extreme of narcissism, which is diagnosable. And it's a small fraction of the population. Then again, a lot of narcissists don't go to therapists for them to get diagnosed. However, that's a category unto itself. How I view it, and the women I work with, I do shadow work and I help people see what are the blind spots that are creating this toxic behavior, their inability to relax and open and be vulnerable, their ability to speak their truth or even ask for their needs to be met. And when it comes out in a way that's harmful or painful to anyone, that's what we're talking about. It's like, what is that about? What is that about? And for me, that's the conditioning of what they've learned from their culture, from their parents, and they've taken that in, and we need to shift that.
I love it. I am seeing a lot of shame inside women that they somehow pass along to men. And I want to kudos to you to do a video in which you got body painted. Here is the link, viewers, if you're interested. Please say more about how you did that video where you found the courage to expose yourself to be naked and painted.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
kick-ass. I love it.
Yeah. And it's also kick ass that I'm like, Valdo's seen me naked. As many tens of thousands of people have. Before we go there, I just want to piggyback on something you said about the shame that women experience, then it kind of spills over into relationship. And that's the pain, that's the hurt, that when women are beating up on themselves, feeling inadequate, terrified to actually open and share all the guarding and all those things that we're going to dive into more, that it comes out in a way that puts men down. It comes out in a way that really emasculates men. And any man, and you can certainly speak to this, any man.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You mean you don't know what it's like to be a man and to be shamed? What?
No, never experienced that.
Never. And that's why we wanted to have this conversation, you know, and we're both coming into this conversation kind of fresh, you know, from a man's perspective, from a woman's perspective, and there's a lot of people talking about masculine toxicity. And so, yeah, that when a woman comes, you know, when a woman is expressing herself in a way that puts a man down and has them feel shame, it's like game over. It's like they lost their value. They lost their ability to show up and feel like they have, well, you could speak to it more than me. However, it's just like, boom.
So hold on for a second. I want to explore that a little bit more, because I know really well the game over from the men's perspective when there is a whiff of shame and, you know, I'm totally no more present. So I think what you're talking about game over is inside the woman when there is the use of shame. It's an internal game over.
Actually, I meant it differently, so I'm really glad you're bringing this up. What I'm saying is that it's game over for the man. He shuts down. He checks out. Yeah.
Okay.
And
so we're on the same page.
Okay, great. Okay, great. And then the question then is, why would a woman do that? And why would a woman show up in that way if a woman, and this is what I hear all the time, and certainly from my perspective as well, if a woman truly wants a man to be there for her, to have her back, to be able to relax in his arms and to open in the most delicious, beautiful, vulnerable way, knowing that she's safe, the last thing she wants is a guy to pull away and not show up for her. And so we need to unpack, like, why would a woman do that? And that ties into the programming, what she picked up along the way, and the shame she holds around that, all the stuff that she tells herself about not being good enough, about, you know, it's too dangerous to reveal. And that's why I did that video. So do you want to piggyback on that, or should we talk about the video? What do you think?
Yeah, please talk about the video, because I believe that this video will attract women to view, and hearing you in real time talk about your motivation and what this did to you to free yourself. And of course, I'm not inviting all female viewers to get naked and painted, but tell more about what you gained and what women can gain from freeing themselves, however way they do that.
Yeah, and I'm really glad you said that, because a lot of women will see this video and say, I would never get naked and body painted, let alone be videotaped and put it on YouTube. So this is not what this is about. This is a metaphor, and yet there's something really potent in this video. So I had a live stream show many years ago called Life Out Loud with Junie Moon. And this was before all the podcasts and everything. And I was able to be in touch with some really amazing, groundbreaking people in the world doing some really beautiful work. And I got in touch with a man that was a well-known body painter, internationally known, Andy Gollop, and he was showing the beauty of the woman's body, that it's not just this sexual, we're going to look at it with that view, those lens, but the artistry, the juiciness, the gorgeousness of the human body, and so much more. And I said, I love this message. Women need to hear that. Women need to heal around this, because so many women, including myself, it's a journey for sure, have shame around how we look. Will I be loved? What will men think? Especially with this population in the second half of life, over 40, things change. Things fall, things move around. And so I said, absolutely, let's have you come on my show. And then I realized, oh my God, he paints naked people. And I had asked him to paint me live on the show. And when I realized that I could do it, that I could actually take my clothes off, be naked, be painted for the whole world to see, I knew something had shifted in me. Because it wasn't that long before that I was afraid to leave the house. I had nothing to wear, no matter what size I was, whether I was 200 pounds or 130 pounds. I felt inadequate and ugly and terrified of being seen. If I got an invitation to a pool party, my stomach would be in knots, and I would find anything I could do to not go there. And now I'm saying yes to getting naked and body painted. So I knew, yes, I knew something had shifted, because I had done a lot of work, specifically shadow work, which is what I do with my clients now. And so I hired a videographer, and we did a mini documentary on my journey to get to this point. And I talk about my journey, and I talk about how I shifted and came to this place where I could shed the shame of, I don't want people to see and I want to hide myself, to here I am and I love myself. And I did it through the vehicle of getting naked and body painted. And now I have released it. And so many women have found so much healing around shedding the shame by knowing they're not alone in this journey.
You know, for me, the most beautiful part of this video is to see you open and become free and juicy in the process. One of the things that I don't think women understand is, of course, young men are going to be very body-based and make judgments about the woman's shape and weight and all those things. But as men age, the juiciness they're looking for is inside juiciness. And of course, men prefer slender women in the street, but they prefer rounder women in their beds. And so you being beautiful and juicy on camera with your curves and whatever things you may not like about your body is beautiful.
Yeah, and that comes back to the programming that men have been subjected to, and I did not address that. And I had a lot of men actually reach out to me as well, because they also have dealt with some body image shame, and that men have been programmed to zoom in on, ooh, yeah, I want her because she looks a certain way, and they've been indoctrinated into thinking that is better or more sexy. And thankfully, things are changing. Slowly, but things are changing. And can we step out of that and really own our essence, and that it's not about our bodies, especially in the second half of life? I can't tell you how many men have said to me, I love your essence. I love how free you are. I love your vulnerability. And that's why a lot of women do come to me, because they go, I want what you have. And I am just, this is me. There's no putting on an act here. This is me. I'll say it how it is. And there are moments when I go, ooh, I might catch myself, and then it's like, whoa, wait a second. Men love authenticity and vulnerability because it gives them the opportunity to lean in and see the shine of a woman. And we've lost that as a culture, because women have been shamed and told that something's wrong with them if they don't look a certain way. So that film, that video, debunks it and shows what is possible. What is possible, because frankly, if I can do it, anyone can do it.
I love it. And so, would it be simplifying to say that happiness is an inside job?
Oh my gosh, happiness is totally an inside job. Self-love. We need to people come to me saying, I want my soulmate, I want my divine right partner. I said, that's amazing. Have you found your inner soulmate? Have you tapped into your beautiful divine heart, your specialness, your brightness? And typically the women that come to me are struggling with that because of the beliefs that they've taken on throughout the decades of their life. And so if a woman, and a man, but if a woman really wants to feel fulfilled and in their authentic, bright self. They need to go within. And then when they're full and vibrant and being themselves and loving who they are, it changes everything on the outside. But the outside's not going to change until they change.
Wonderful. So
Can I
far
say something else?
please.
Sorry to interrupt you because what I
How
said.
dare you? How dare you interrupt
Dare
me?
I interrupt you? I heard what I said, and I was like, the outside doesn't change until the inside changes. And what I want to just say, sometimes the outside isn't going to change. They're going to be people that are going to be walking their walk and being who they are, and they may or may not be right for you. However, when you change and you shift and you own your beauty inside and you can embrace truly who you are fully, then the outside changes in the sense that different people will be attracted to you. The right people that will see you and be drawn to you will be drawn to you when maybe they wouldn't be drawn to you if you continue to hold on to the beliefs of your inadequacy or the not good enoughness.
Yeah. And so I love what I'm hearing. I am personally viewing a lot of women's dating profiles. Some of it is professional and some of it is for my own dating. And one of the things that I have intentionally practiced is, biologically, women are designed to select a mate that will basically raise her children, and men biologically are designed to basically spread as much seed as possible, knowing that that partner will raise her children. And so men are blamed for making quick decisions about just one picture of women's profiles and not reading. And I have intentionally practiced, and my learning there is I can now spot within a half a second whether a woman is juicy or not. And the juiciness is not, of course, not the porn juiciness. I have no interest in that. But is she happy with her femininity? Is she at ease with herself? Is she able to be free, whatever her body is? Because as men, we get used to our woman's body. Love is way more important.
Oh my God, there's so much there, so beautiful. And it also, I'm so glad you're saying this because so many of the women that follow me will be watching this and going, oh my goodness, this can actually be true, that there are men like you that are actually looking for that juiciness. And that's the tricky thing when women come to me and I see their profiles and they're like, help me find a man. And I look at their profiles, I'm like, okay, that's the cart before the horse, sister. We need to really cultivate that inner love and that juiciness and be bold in that profile. Because it's not like I like to walk on the beach and look at sunsets. And it's like, what are you claiming? What are you desiring? Who are you? And most women, well, most people, but most women have not taken the time to go within. I actually have a video that talks about deep listening, like really going in and hearing what's going on, creating time to slow down and to really ask some big questions about who am I being? Because if they don't do that, what is going to be in their profile? Who are they being needs to be in their profile.
So, listeners, I love Junie's aliveness right now. I'm going to post that video both here and at the end, also in the links, because I believe it's a video that many should watch.
Yeah, and so that going within, that slowing down, I mean, I get it. I've been there where I'm like, I really want a partner and I really want someone to share my life with. And my profile did not reflect what I truly wanted because I didn't truly know myself. I needed to really recalibrate what was going on inside of my being, what was going on between my ears. And that's the shadow work. And we don't know what we don't know until we do. And when we shine a light on the programming, what we've picked up along the way, what were we told when we were kids? What have we witnessed in Disney movies and in past relationships, or what did we learn from our parents? If we're not clear about what we've taken in around that, and the 95% of our brain that's unconscious, that soaked up all this information, is running in the background, it ain't gonna work in your profile because you're working with the 5%. So we need to peel back the layers gently, consciously, comfortably, and stretching, so that women can release, unpack, let go, and become the woman that you described: juicy, bold, alive, here. And that's when we have a very different opportunity.
So, are you working on debunking the myth that this is not possible, the second half of their life will be the same as the first? Are you working on, yes, this is possible? You can basically find the love you want by being fully yourself.
Yes. Yes, yes.
I was surprised with your silence. Now I understand better.
It's the actress in me. It's like, let's take that moment. Yes, I want to debunk that anything that you want to shift and change and heal is possible. Because again, I did it. I couldn't raise my hand in class when I was in high school because of all the bullying I had. I was afraid to be seen. I was afraid to speak in front of groups, and I took that into my adulthood. We have taken on all these different experiences and these beliefs, and it shaped us, and it's not our fault. I really want everyone to hear this. Let's take some shame off right now, which is, you are a human being and you have been taught to survive, fit in, be loved, and not be discarded in any way. And that's our biology too. And so we've been running all of this to get us to this point, but we are not at the mercy of that. We can heal, we can change.
And I want to add a short piece. Exactly the same thing for men. You know, men have basically survived until the second half of their lives, and they are realizing, oh, there is also more to life and more to love. So please keep going.
Yeah. And I'm so glad. That's why I'm so excited to talk to you, as you know, you being a man and us having this juicy conversation. And so, yeah, we picked up these beliefs. And then we act out of these beliefs toxically, because there's a part of us as human beings that don't want to have that criticism, don't want to have that rejection, or whatever it is that you're fearing in an unconscious way. And so we come out sideways and we put people down and we act in different ways, and we can stop it. And we can stop it by doing the healing work, by pulling back the curtains and doing some of the shadow work. Some of it you could do on your own. I totally encourage people to get a facilitator, because it's in shadow. It's, you know, these are blind spots. It's in the recesses of your brain. And so to take some time to kind of go, why am I acting like this? And how can I show up to my next partner in a more gracious, loving, conscious way? So when the shit does hit the fan, you don't go into your default pattern of blaming and shaming and cutting, because that's not what is going to work. And it's not what we desire. We want true partnership and yumminess and connection. And so, yes, I want to debunk that the future is the same as the past. The past is the past. Let's learn from it. Let's unplug from the crazy emotional charge that it has. Let's take the information. Let's do the healing work, and then move forward into a very different life. And the other piece of calling in your divine right partner, I don't know. And I'm just going to say that right here, right now. There's so many people out there that are like, and if you do this work, he will come and you will call in this amazing person. I don't know, because there's so many other things in the unseen world. Soul contracts, if you believe in soul contracts, the path that we've chosen, the lessons that we're here to learn. I don't know. However, what I do know is that if you don't clean up the past, you are destined to have the same future with the same kind of people coming into your life. And when you do the healing work, whether you have a partner show up or not, you will feel a fulfillment and a richness that you will not feel if you don't let go.
I love it, and it feels like you and I are very aligned with that. I want to ask you a question that may seem very counterintuitive about hope. Because we, in that instant gratification culture, we want basically just to sign up to your class and Prince Charming shows up. And so
Exactly, right?
I see a lot of women in our age range who tell me that their path of transformations was years and sometimes, a decade and a half. And women come back to the dating scene. So, what do you see as a timeline to basically give yourself as a gift for that transformation so that the second half of your life can be very different, whether you stay single or not?
Oh, great question. My goodness, great question. And just for everybody, we didn't go over questions. This is like fresh off the plate or whatever the saying is. I don't think there's a timeline. I think we all have our journeys.
But
I
so
think,
I'm
yeah.
I'm hearing you, but is it days, weeks? Oh, you sign up for that 3-week class with Junie Moon, are you done? Or is
Okay,
it
that's a
more
great question.
years? Or is it
Yeah.
more years?
Yeah, I've had people that I had this one client. Let's just tell a quick story. I had this one client, 2.5 years ish out of a marriage, sexless marriage. She had some challenges with, opening and believing that it's possible. And she wanted a partner. And she's like, okay, I am ready. I want to go out there. But she kept sabotaging herself in different ways. And so we did some shadow work. We did one process. And in this particular process, she just had this, like her eyes literally popped out of her head. And she was just like, I remember this moment when I was 15 and my dad heard I was dating boys or I was interested in boys. And he shamed her, called her names. And in that moment, she felt the absence of her father's love. It was devastating for her. And she looked at me and she said, this is why I'm afraid to put myself out there because of what happened decades ago. And of course, I don't have the crystal ball. I said, I don't know. And yet, I think it's probably very true because this is what I see over and over. And so we did a very specific process to detach, unplug from what happened with her father because her father's not around. It's not what it's about anymore. And she came to this place of, I can do whatever I want. I want to call this in. I'm in a different place in my life. And within a couple of weeks, she found somebody so special in her life. So, can it happen in a session, in a week? Absolutely. And I think that's the anomaly. I think that it takes time. And when I work with people, I have a year-long program for people to really slowly unpack and come back to that confident, radiant, clear, full woman. And some women meet people soon out the gate, their beloveds, and some women are still doing the work and it's not their time yet. And then there are people that I work one-on-one with and we dive in for a few months. Sometimes, again, a few weeks later, boom, oh my God, he's here. And sometimes it takes a couple of years and I get these messages of, I'm getting married, thank you so much. So I think we can talk about how long it'll be and when will it happen, if it will happen. And what I think is more important is how do you want your life to be, no matter how long it takes? Are you willing to step into the unknown? Are you willing to take some time to get to know yourself, to love yourself, and allow it to unfold in the time it's meant to unfold? Did that answer your question?
It does perfectly. And so for any woman watching this video, I'm going to put the description in the description below, the link to Junie's website and her workshops. Junie, the tragedy I'm seeing is that women do not trust men because men do not understand women. So I would love to ask for you some advice for men on how to empower women. And of course, I already know you are not going to tell me, please, on your dating profile, put pictures with caps and sunglasses and no
And hold that
t-shirt.
fish. Make sure you're holding
Exactly.
that fish. Oh my
So now we are
God.
clear on that.
Okay.
What advice do you have for men to basically better understand women and create that space, that field in which a woman will feel safe? And of course, the two of them will learn more and more over the years for
Yeah.
him to become stronger and her to be safer in that field.
So beautiful. Two things there. Number one, I'm going to answer something else, which is,
How dare you? Are you
how
a free
dare I
woman or what?
break the rules here. Uh, Trust is an inside job as well. I believe women need to learn how to trust themselves, trust their instincts, have healthy boundaries, keep their eyes open. Because a guy can do all of those things and they still won't trust a man. They need to learn how to trust themselves first.
Before
And
you
now
go
to
to the
your,
second, before
yes,
you go to the
yes.
second, this is, we didn't talk about it, but this is for me the third view of toxic femininity. Women are toxic with each other. They are competitive. They put each
Yeah.
other down. They steal each other's men. When I was growing up, I heard again and again that, single women don't get invited to dinner parties. And I said, really? But this is true.
It is true. It is true.
Yeah.
It is true in some arenas, and it's more true than not because people feel threatened. People are scared of losing their partner or have their own insecurities and doubts. So again, it comes back to doing the work and rising together. And I absolutely am thrilled to do the work I do because more and more women are waking up because of the work I do, and so many other amazing teachers and leaders out there helping women rise up into that beautiful radiant self that they are, to trust who they are. And women are inviting each other over no matter what because they know they're able to feel differently. And we still have a lot of work to do. So I'm really glad you brought that in. Yeah.
Before you go to your second, I want to bring a story that happened 2 years ago for me. I was with a woman at the beginning of a week-long intimacy retreat. And a woman opened the door to the room we were already in. And I was dumbfounded by what she said. She said, ouch, my competition just entered the room. And that was devastating for me to hear that. And, the tragedy of that.
Yeah. Yeah, my temperature in my body just went up when you said that. It's I think we have to be careful about putting people on pedestals. There are some amazing people out there doing some great work, and they're still human beings, and they still have their own shadows, and it's a
And
never-ending journey of healing, and that is just such a testament to that piece. Let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. This person might have some huge value, and if I was in that container and I heard that, my ears would have perked up and I would have been like, okay, there's something here I need to be mindful of because there's more work to be done about separate and competition and better and inadequacy and all that stuff. So yeah, we have a lot more to go. We have a lot more
yep.
healing to go, and that's why
But
one
as
heart
men,
at a
as
time.
but as men, we don't have much more to go. We are a finished product. Not okay. So on that on that,
Oh my goodness.
please go into the second part
The
of your
men,
advice
yes.
for men on
Yeah.
how to create a place in which women can feel safe, so
Yeah.
they can open and reveal to their juiciness.
Yeah, well, I think a lot comes down to communication upfront on both parties to be really clear about what they want and how it looks. And then for a man to show up with their word, with their communication. If a man is really wanting to be in partnership and a man is interested in a woman, then be authentic as well. Be honest with what is true for you and show up. And what I mean by show up is if you say you're going to call, call. If you are unable to call, let them know. Don't disappear, for men or women. It happens on both sides. To, you know, I don't know if you know Terry Real's work, Dr. Terry Real. I just friggin' love him. One of the things he said, and it's not necessarily the easiest thing to do, but I also think it's paramount. If your partner or somebody is having a challenge and you care about this person, park your ego at the door. Your partner is in trouble. Your partner's off the beam. To be able to have the ability to hold the space without your own agenda, without trying to fix her, without trying to look good or be anything other than holding your space, being present. Tony Robbins says that too. Tony Robbins in his big voice says, you know, a man says, I did everything. I gave her everything. And then Tony says, but you didn't give her your presence. Goosebumps on this end. Just show up with your heart, with as much or with as little ego as possible, and hold the space for your woman. That teaches us that we can relax, be heard, be seen, and that will allow us to open and trust. That's what I got for you with that question.
So men, presence and integrity, and women, he is a work in progress. Learn to invite him positively to these two life-changing qualities for a woman's love life.
Exactly. And we're all work in progress. And again, if there's one thing, we touched on so many things here today. If there's one thing I hope that everybody gets from this is we are all works in progress. Let's stay awake. Let's do the best we can to love up on ourselves, knowing that we are a product of all the things we've experienced, and that's not the end of the story. It's actually the beginning. And we can look at this information that we call our life from the past, and then we can co-create with the universe, or if you don't speak universe, try different things and be a different person in the next chapter. Because if we continue to do the same things over and over and we act in the same way, we know what's going to happen. And so if you truly want to have this rich, fulfilling, magnificent life, then give yourself that hug, that gentleness, knowing that you are healing. It's a journey, and I'm not at the top of the mountain. Yes, I have climbed high, and I look back and go, wow, look how far I've come, and there's more. And I do it with as much love and gentleness as I can.
Junie, I loved our conversation. We were able to talk about 30 minutes about a better love life without talking about sex. That's wonderful.
Okay, let's plan that one. This has been amazing. This is what's important, because you cannot, in my opinion, have deep, rich intimacy if you haven't explored what we're talking about. So, yeah, this is the meal. This is the meal. This is not the appetizer. This is the meal.
Well, Junie, keep up the good work.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Back to you. I love what you're bringing into the world.
Thank you. If this video inspired you to liberate more love and create more happiness, please hit the like button below and subscribe so you can be notified when I publish new juicy content. And please share with all you believe would benefit. I look forward to seeing you very soon.